who visit your your facility. So it's very important that the time that they spend in the facility in the stadium is as comfortable and as enjoyable as possible. So I think that was one of the primary considerations when we designed this particular facility. Yeah.
You talked to spectators. When we see images of stadia in Australia, the families watching, like South Africa, Cape Town, Durban, all families coming out. So that aspect also obviously we kept in mind.
Absolutely, because you see, like as you rightly said, it's a family outing, and now particularly with the advent of T20 cricket, you see a lot of families, the female members of families coming to playgrounds, coming to stadiums. You see a lot of children. We've also provided for even for physically challenged physically challenged people also to enjoy and to come into this facility. So you want it to be a family outing. You want that every citizen, every member of society should be able to come into this facility and enjoy the action that takes place in the center.
Looking at the stadium here, especially the flood lighting, obviously you've taken into account all the high-tech things needed for a modern sports stadium.
Yeah, because now television is a very important component of any sports event that takes place. So we've tried to ensure that we have the best illumination levels for sports lighting that is possible in cricket stadiums in India. And the lux levels right at the center is almost close to about 2,700, 2,800 lux. So we've used GE lights to ensure that we get those illumination levels at this stadium, so that the match will be played in optimum conditions and players can perform at their best. And you also have to look at glare factors, so that's why that also determines how the heights of all your high masts. So we've ensured that they are beyond visual height. So in that sense, players will not be bothered by glare or other such factors, and which will not impinge their performance.
And players' dressing room, the comfort level that you're going to provide for the players?
Yeah, we've given isolated spaces, one of the foremost conditions is of course the fact that they've got to have good access to the ground, and they should have a good view of the playing arena. So they've got their different dressing rooms with all the necessary allied infrastructure that is required for those dressing rooms. So, where they can watch the match, and they can recuperate also after playing in the match. So in the sense, we have got fitness centers where the back-end facilities also available to them, and the view which they get of the entire match is something really quite nice.
And looking down where I'm walking, the lush turf, it's a sight. In summer, I think we'll have the same lush turf, you think?
Yeah, in fact, the turf is interesting in a sense, like, this is a sand-based outfield there. Okay. So one of the principal reasons why we opted for a sand-based outfield is that, sand ensures very quick drainage of water here. So this is one of the grounds which will drain very easily. So, now time is a very crucial factor. So rain delays is something which you have to consider when you're planning an event of any kind. So this outfield will ensure that if in the situation where there is rain, so it will dry up quickly, and that will, you'll get more time to you can recover quickly, and the game can restart immediately.
You got a moat on the periphery, so any rain water harvesting or something can
That's
be done
right. In fact, the moat is sort of it's a catchment area for all the underground drainage that's gone below the outfield. So you've got a whole network of pipes which has been laid in a grid form under this outfield, and which picks all the water out, and it's put into the catchment area, which is the moat around the entire ground, and then that water is again recirculated for irrigation purposes. Yeah. So yes, that's being done at this particular stadium.
And the heart of the stadium, of course, is the pitch. So that's what we're going to talk next. The pitch, what sort of ideas you had in mind before really homed in on preparing a good...
See, the pitch has been a very interesting experience for all of us over here at the D Patil Sports Academy, in the sense, like, one of the things when you watch matches being played overseas has been the fact that, you have pitches with true bounce, which encourage very aggressive and attractive cricket. So, we thought that we could experiment with soil which we have imported from South Africa, which came by containers at the port at Nawashiva. And we've taken the advice and consultancy of Professor Neil Tainton and Professor John Clark from the University of Natal in South Africa. And they've been instrumental in laying this entire pitch in this particular facility. So, it's got a very high clay content, and the technique for preparation of the pitch has been the same that has been deployed in other test centers in South Africa. So we are hoping that, it will create, generate the same kind of results which you see in grounds in South Africa, where recently the 2020 World Cup was held. And I think audiences worldwide and people and sportsmen worldwide, they appreciated the kind of performances that came through on those pitches there. So I think that's a very important component, and that's something which we really look forward to.
What are the feedback from the last year's 2020 tournament, the matches which were held?
Yeah, for a 3 or a 4 month old pitch, it did extremely well, and as you know, there's a big settling period for pitches. So when I asked one of the curators and some of the experts who are in the business of creating pitches and who've been curators for many pitches, so a young pitch, they consider a young pitch which is about 3 or 4 years old. So in that respect, this is a baby, but it's done pretty well. We played a number of practice games, and I'm sure that in times to come, it will be something which other associations and other facilities would want to emulate.
And luminaries like Venksarakar, Chandrakant Pandit, all have been here.
Right.
So what is their feedback on this magnificent stadium?
Yeah, they've been very appreciative of the efforts which has been put over here, and they've shared a lot of insight. They've also given me a lot of suggestions, which I've been fortunate enough, and which I've tried to incorporate in this facility. So it's been very encouraging to hear, to get the feedback from players, ex-cricketers, and they've been very forthcoming in the suggestion and advice. And I've made every effort to see that I've looked at the players' perspective, and I've tried to ensure that we incorporate this in this particular facility.
And your guiding light is a giant, Abhi Kuriwala, among India's fastest bowlers in recent years.
Yeah,
and obviously we're going to see a fast pitch here.
Yeah, he's just been a wonderful person. We've been friends, we've studied together. So he stood by me, and it's been just wonderful to have such a supportive individual, and who's been such a faithful servant of Indian cricket and also domestic cricket for the Mumbai Ranji Trophy squad. So it's been wonderful to have him alongside me.
So cricket stadium and a cricket team and champion cricketers, that's what sort of vision you have for the recent future?
See, yeah, it's a multi-pronged approach. Of course, now since we've created the facility, so one of the major objectives is to host various national and international events. So that's something which any person who would create infrastructure of this kind would aspire for. And we also have a sports academy which is promoting cricket. It's working on youngsters. So as somebody who's set up a sports academy, one of the dreams I would have is that one of the players who's taken his first steps in our academy to graduate further and go on to represent his state side, his country, with great honor. So I think that would probably be one of the greatest days, and it would give us a lot of satisfaction and happiness.
When it comes to a cricket game, everything is discussed. The heart of the matter is the pitch, and
Right.
so many theories are about pitch making. We've seen pitches in all different kinds of the world, different parts of the world, and the pitch is the single most important part of any
Right.
stadium. So what does this pitch remind you of?
See, essentially, you expect a pitch to have true bounce, and so you need a true pitch to promote good and aggressive cricket. I guess you can relate it to it when you watch matches being played in Australia. We watch matches being played in South Africa, and the thing that really strikes to you about the game is that the fact that they are true pitches, and that promotes really aggressive and good cricket. So we've conducted an experiment over here in terms of preparation of pitches. We've got the soil imported in from South Africa, from Pretoria, and these pitches have been prepared under the expert guidance of Professor Neil Tainton and Professor John Clark from the University of Natal in South Africa. So we expect this pitch to be a true pitch with good bounce, and it's got a very high clay content, and it's got a clay content of almost 58% in the pitch, and that helps in better binding and creating a more harder surface. And I'm sure that once this experiment is successful, it's a technique which will be adopted and emulated by various other associations, and we would like to share this information with the different affiliated bodies and associations of the Board of Cricket Control in India.
Paulie Mriga, the first curator of the Wankhede Stadium, used to tell us that when he went to West Indies, he would see them rolling the pitch laterally, so obviously which helped bind the grass. So obviously that sort of thing is done here.
Yeah, because essentially, there's a whole lot of technique, and every particular curator of each individual grounds, they have their own techniques in terms of pitch preparation and how they go about preparing the pitch, whether it's for 5-day games, whether it's for 1-day games, or for other games. So every stadium, every facility, so every curator has his own unique practices. But by and large, rolling is a very important and an integral part of any pitch preparation in terms of compaction, in terms of getting your levels right of your pitches. And you mentioned about grass. Grass is a very important factor in pitches because essentially it's the roots which the grass creates which helps keep the soil together, and it prevents the pitch from breaking up. It binds the soil. But you wouldn't want to keep too much of it also, because that will also promote seam movement.
Yes.
So the idea is to strike a right balance where you have a little bit of grass on it so that it creates a good binding for the pitch. It helps fast bowlers to a greater degree on the first or the second day, but by the end of the second and third day, you would expect the pitch to have become a very good batting track, and then gradually you could say that the pitch starts deteriorating, so that on the fifth and the fourth and the final fifth day, you would expect that it would help spinners. Yeah. So that is what most experts, cricket experts, agree to be a definition of a good cricket pitch for a test match. Yeah.
And keeping it green all year round is going to be a challenge, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we have an integrated irrigation system which has been put in place for this ground. So we have a sprinkler system which covers the entire outfield and the pitch area. So in that sense, so you've got to ensure that there's adequate irrigation throughout the year for the outfield and in the right quantities. And of course, you have your outfield, different management practices for your outfield in terms of your mowing techniques, in terms of your cutting techniques. So that's a regimen which you've got to follow so as to ensure a good and a very good outfield.
Any particular horticulturist is on your panel, like Kasturi Rangan from Bangalore, or what? Yeah.
No, we have an Institute of Biotechnology, so which is looking at certain aspects in terms of the different varieties of grasses which you can grow on pitches, and the germination rates, and what also the soil is being studied, because it's not a really practical solution for other clubs and other entities to actually import soil in from South Africa, or for that matter Australia. So it's what we want to ensure is that we can find soil with a similar characteristic in some part in India, because then the technique could be expanded further and it could be implemented in various other places.
Well, that's it. You heard everything what Mr. Vijay Patil has told us. The operative word is green, and green means fertility, and it's the fertile imagination of one person with a great passion to build a great stadium with a good high-tech state-of-the-art facilities. That's going to be the driving force for this stadium, the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Nerul, not very far from Mumbai, which hopefully is going to see a lot of big cricket playing here. Thank you.
Thank you.